What's up, guys? Today we are talking about the Switch 2 game Donkey Kong Bonanza. Now I've got my Switch 2 here. It is completely bricked and it's actually overheating in my hand as I speak, so I love the portability aspect. Let's just chat about Donkey Kong Bonanza real quick, because the big controversy that just came out from the latest Nintendo Direct was that this game got $20 DLC tacked on to the very end of the game, which makes the entire full true experience of this single player game a $90 price tag. So yeah, let's chat about it real quick. I bought Donkey Kong Bonanza when it released on day one. I wasn't really expecting to, but the game was getting some praise. It seemed pretty fun, and honestly, I felt like I was going to miss out on kind of that next like big 3D Mario game experience by not purchasing and playing the game. I beat it, like I did a majority of the content within the game. By the time I rolled credits, I felt like I had experienced a lot. The ending was great for the most part. But you know, you kind of expect like that post-credits, end game type of content like you did with Mario Odyssey. When you beat Mario Odyssey and you beat the final boss, you unlock an extra level where it's kind of nostalgic. It's a throwback, and it was just a very nice bow tie on the entire experience of that game. So the same developers that made that experience also made Donkey Kong Bonanza. And so maybe there was a chance to see some more of the old nostalgic levels, or maybe you unlock a new zone. And while they did have elements of nostalgia towards the end of the game, this was like a big missing chunk that some people were kind of hoping for. And they ended up announcing it, saying it was available today, and then having the fans realize that it was a $20 DLC for one level in the game. I think this is some of the most greedy stuff Nintendo has done in recent time, especially considering that this is a single player 3D experience. This is not an ongoing multiplayer service. This is not an ongoing game. It's a one-off game that you play and you enjoy, and you can collect all the stuff within it. But this is like the true ending of the game. So if you felt like any void of content right at the end of beating Donkey Kong Bonanza, this is why. This was the true ending of the game. And they decided to release it 2 months later, because they didn't make this in 2 months. It was on the game files day one, and they just chose to release it 2 months later in case you wanted to come back. Something I forgot to mention is that I actually sold this game after I beat it, and that's because I felt like I had a pretty fulfilling experience and that I wasn't going to come back to it. And this is kind of just a slap in the face to my decision too, because I am definitely, I would have not purchased this even if I still had the game. I'm actually here watching video clips of what this could have been for me. I'm not a huge Donkey Kong fan, honestly, but this is like a cool bow tie experience right at the end of the game. You got the cool music playing. You got some of the characters from the original games here. This just would have been amazing if it was tacked into the price, but it was not. It's just one of the dumbest decisions they've made in recent time. And I definitely will not support it. I'm never talking about the prices of games on this channel, because honestly, I think games as a whole is a pretty cheap form of entertainment for the quality that most of them provide. And I'm not here to talk about, is it worth an extra $5-10 for the DLC? I'm just saying the idea that you have to pay for the true ending of this game is so dumb, because I haven't seen a game do that before, in a while at least. I can't think of it off the top of my head. I make comparisons to other big hitter games as of late, and I think of something like God of War Ragnarok on PlayStation. That was a complete $70 game at launch, and then a year later, they announced that they had created a roguelike mode for the game, and it was free. It was a surprise drop, and it was about a 15-hour DLC if you play the whole thing. And, with this Donkey Kong one, they did add a roguelike mode to the DLC as well. And that applies to all the levels in the game. But, the real reason you're going to play this is so that you can see Donkey Kong Island. And I've also heard that there's not actually much content on the island itself. There's no bananas that you can collect on the island. So you're really just checking it out. And then you can play the new mode on the map. It's just very confusing. It's part of this new Nintendo era that we're in. And, it's filled with subscription services tied to physical hardware accessories that you have to buy. It's tied to not getting the actual games fans are expecting, and you get weird spin-off games, or you get weird mechanics in the new installments in the series. And this is just the latest story coming out of Nintendo, but I just had to make like a hypercritical video on this, because if they do this stuff for Metroid Prime 4, if they do this stuff for the next 3D Mario game, or even the next Zelda game, I'm just gonna really have to like sit back and rant, because it's really dumb. And I know that the hardcore fans will not care. They're gonna see this and buy it without a second thought. And maybe if it was for like my equivalent favorite game series, I would do the same thing. But with something as like innocent as Donkey Kong, and knowing that the team behind the 3D Mario games is behind this, I don't know, man. I'm kind of sketched out for whatever they release next. I'm actually now anticipating Metroid Prime 4 to have some kind of dumb, unlockable $20 DLC behind it a month after launch. But who knows? Honestly, like, the best thing to come out of this whole situation for me is that I got most of my money back for Donkey Kong Bonanza when I sold it.